everyone, and welcome to the XD Daily Creative Challenge. It's a beautiful morning in San Francisco. It's really nice and sunny. And as always, I am so happy to be here live in the Adobe studios. Let's take a look in the Behance chat to see who's joining us this morning. Hi, everyone. Carlos, Sam, Ree, Nicholas, Raphael, Vlad. Hi, good morning. Nice to see all of you. Okay, so today is day number 2 in the XD Daily Creative Challenge. But before we get into this, I'm just going to go over what the XD Daily Creative Challenge is all about, the different ways you can participate, and all that. So I'm just going to head on over to my screen. And what you're looking at right now is the official landing page for the XD Daily Creative Challenge. It has all the information you need, but just pretty quickly, the Daily Creative Challenge is essentially a really great way for you to learn the basics of UX and UI design with Adobe XD in 9 challenges. And as you can see right here, if you click this button, you can register for the challenge and you'll be notified each and every day when a challenge begins. And you'll see the notification if you look in your top menu bar here. And if you click the Creative Cloud symbol and then the bell icon, that's where you'll see your notifications. So just gonna scroll down on the landing page. Be sure to get Adobe XD because that is what we're using for this challenge. It's free. And we also have a Slack channel that you can join. I'm gonna give you a quick tour of that, but before I do that, I just wanna show you, if you scroll down a little more, you can see all the challenges. Right now there's only 2 because it's day 2, but if you missed day number 1, be sure to just watch a replay of the video, and also there's a downloadable template for all the challenges that you can download and get started. Okay, so I'm just gonna head on over to our Slack channel just to give you a quick tour of it. So first thing you're gonna wanna do when you sign up for Slack is introduce yourself. So tell us your first name, where you're from. There's people from all around the world. It's quite amazing to see so many people joining us for this challenge. Every morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, the daily challenge is posted in the announcements channel and also the downloadable XD file. That's essentially a template so you can follow along with me. In the design feedback channel, that is where you will post your designs and get some very valuable feedback. We actually have mentors and professionals who will be giving you some really high level feedback. So definitely take advantage of that. And finally, in the Help General channel, let's say you have a more technical question in regards to Adobe XD. This is where you're gonna wanna ask your questions. And also we do have a URL that you can go to sign up for Slack. So right above my head right here, be sure to go to that URL and sign up. Okay, and really quickly in Behance, we are using the keyword XD Daily Challenge. So when you're creating your Behance project and just before you publish it, make sure you hit the Discoverability tab and use the keyword XD Daily Challenge. That way we know we can see your work when you're publishing your Behance project. And it's also a great way for me to find your work because I do like to feature some work. And really quickly, I'm gonna feature some designs based on day number 1's challenge. So day number 1, it was to design a personal finance app. And we have a really great example. First one is by Adini, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, very sorry. But you did a really great job with this challenge. I love your dark UI. It looks really great. And the interpretation of the pie chart, I love how everything looks really great. It's not too, I guess, different from what the challenge is, which is great. So this is a really great example of day number 1's challenge. And I'm actually gonna just show you an example of someone that went kind of above and beyond what was expected, which is really great as well. And this is by Zhang. And as you can see, he used a GIF to, show the user, I guess, flow of the app, which is quite amazing, really. And I love your presentation on your Behance project. So great job. This is amazing. So let me appreciate your projects. Okay, so let's get started on day number 2. So I'm gonna head on over to my XD file, and this is what the template looks like, and this is what you should be seeing. So for day number 2, we'll be designing and prototyping a local landing page for your city. So again, we have so many people from, around the world, so this is a really great way to know where everyone is from. So definitely represent your city. I'm from the 6, aka Toronto. Shout out to Drake. But yeah, so I will be prototyping a Toronto landing page, I'm very excited for that. So I'm just going to quickly give you a tour of this template. So as always, on the left-hand side, we have some suggested color schemes and also additional resources. So if you want to use stock photography, which you'll probably need for, I guess, this challenge, maybe a photo of your city, a nice high quality photo of your city, be sure to check out Adobe Stock. And it's totally fine if your photo has a watermark. We're just trying to practice here. And also one more thing for the challenge, the daily creative challenge, there's no deadline, every day, like at midnight for you to submit your projects. The goal here is just to practice. So I'm going to move on over to a more fleshed out version of the template. I already have the content that I want. So big and bold, I have, Toronto. I also have a nice description of Toronto right below this title or this heading. And I also have a button for, I guess, if I created more screens for users to go to a different page and maybe explore the city. At the top here, I also have a menu area. So I have home, about, explore, and a city map button. And then here, right below this top section, I have kind of a, I guess, menu area or a selection area where you can select this button here. There's going to be a drop-down, I guess, transition that we'll be prototyping where you can select additional options, or it will reveal additional options. And then once you fill out this area, you can, find an event in the city of Toronto. And finally, below, I added some content here. So just an additional, I guess, statement of Toronto. And then I plan on putting a really nice photo in this square here, or this rectangle here. So I guess at this point, since I already have my content, I have, my wireframe and everything, I'm just going to add some color. So I guess the main colors for Canada is red and white. So my primary color is going to be red. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add a really nice photo to this background area here. So I already have a folder with the photos that I will be using. So let me go to day 2, photos, and I have a really great photo of the Toronto skyline or waterfront. It's beautiful. So I'm just going to drag and drop it into this object here. And voila, I have a really nice high quality photo of Toronto. Now, as you can see, I'm not a fan of the CN Tower being blocked by this square here, or this object. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double click on this object, and I'm actually, it reveals the entire photo. So I'm just going to resize it by pressing Shift and then dragging out the right-hand corner of this photo. And there we go. So now it's showing a lot better, a lot nicer than before. Okay. So now that we have this really nice photo of the Toronto skyline, I'm also going to actually add a really cool effect to this section here. So because there's text, I don't want to, make it too, I guess, light in color so that I can't read the text because I am using white as the text color. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to select this square here, and as you can see, it's just sitting on top of the photo. And in the property inspector, I'm going to select background blur. And right now, it's you can't see the effect, but it's actually gonna give a really nice background blur effect. So what I'm gonna first do is I'm going to select the blur amount, and I'm just going to drag it out until I get, I guess, my desired blur amount. So something you're gonna definitely want to play around with. I think that this is a good amount, and that is 8. So again, it's white text we're using. We want it to stand out more. We want it to be, you know, legible. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to decrease the brightness of this background blur. So I don't want it too dark like this, so I'm actually going to reduce it. I think 7 is a good amount. Maybe 8. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that looks really good. So just by doing that, we have this really cool blur effect. So now I'm just going to add our primary color to these buttons. So this Explore the City button, I want that to be red, the primary red. So let me select it in the Assets panel here. And I'm also going to color this city map button, the background. I want it to be red too. There we go. So in this section here, there is a repeating object. It's this button that's a drop-down button. So what it is right now is it's actually a symbol. And if you have an element or an object on your artboards and you're using it multiple times, you can actually turn it into a symbol. That way, when you're adding a color, or if you want to change the color of that specific symbol, you can easily do so. So every instance on your artboard will be updated. So the symbols library is here, and if it's not a symbol, you can easily just select the object, hit the plus icon in the next to symbols, and it would turn into a symbol. So I'm going to color it our primary color. Oops. And just so you can see what that looks like, when I apply the color on one instance of the symbol, all instances are updated. So I'm also going to color this our primary color, and I want this to be red too. So I also have a photo that I want to add in this object here. So again, I'm going to open my folder for this challenge, and I already have a photo that I chose. I think this is a nice photo. It shows our, the infamous Toronto streetcar. So I'm just going to drag and drop it into this object. And there we go. And again, if you double click, it reveals the entire photo, and you can move it around, resize it, and just adjust it as needed. There we go. So this background, this is kind of a decorative, I guess, element. So I'm just going to color this our primary color red, or Canadian red. And there we go. So for this city map button, I want to show a map. So when you click this, it's gonna reveal a nice big map. So I'm actually going to create a new artboard. So I'm gonna hit A on my keyboard. And I'm actually going to drag this out so it fills the entire top area of our landing page. And I'm just gonna move it over. Let me name the artboard map. And I'm also going to hit R on my keyboard to draw a rectangle. Gonna remove the border and fill it with a gray color. So now that there is a placeholder for our image, I'm gonna open my folder with my map. image, and I'm going to drag and drop it onto the artboard. So this is a map of Toronto. And I also want to have a close button on this map because we want to give users the option to, close it because it's kind of big. So I'm going to, in my symbols library, just drag out this close button. I'm gonna position it in the top right corner like so. And I'm going to color it our primary color. All right, so looks like everything is, we added our colors, photos. I'm just gonna zoom into this area here. So this is the actual drop down, the menus. So I already have content for that. So all I need to do now is prototype. So I'm going to head on over to prototype mode in the top area here. Let me just click this. And I'm going to make this our home, our board in terms of prototype. So that way, anytime I want to preview my prototype, this is the screen that appears. And I'm going to wire this artboard to our map. And instead of a transition, I just want it to be an overlay. So I'm going to select overlay. Gonna move it up here. And I want the transition to be a really simple dissolve, and I want the duration to be just 0.2 seconds. And for our drop down area here, I also want this to be an overlay. So what I'm going to do is when a user clicks the drop down button here, going to select wire this to our person selection options, and I'm going to select overlay, and I'm going to position the overlay just below like so. And again, I want the transition to be just a simple dissolve and 0.2 seconds duration. So I'm going to do this for all of the drop downs. So wire the button to our date drop down, hit overlay, transition dissolve, duration to 0.2 seconds. And let me position that just below like this. And now our activity, I want this to be wired to our drop down here. Click overlay, transition to dissolve, duration to 0.2 seconds. So I don't want scrolling. All right, so again, if you want to just quickly, oh, one more thing. I want to make sure that when the close button is selected, it, removes the map. So I believe when you select the artboard and it's an overlay, it automatically disappears. So I will just leave that. So if you want to preview all your wires when you're in prototype mode, just select Command A on your keyboard, and you can see all the different wires that you've just created. So really quickly, okay, so I'm actually gonna wire this city map button to the map. And let me make sure that everything is positioned correctly. Transition is dissolve, easing to ease out, and duration to 0.2 seconds. And for this, I think I'm gonna remove this wire right here, because I only want when the button's selected, the city map button, I want the map to appear. So let's preview this. So I'm gonna press Command Enter on my keyboard, or you can just select Desktop Preview. And let's see how this works. So let's see this drop down. Great. Let's see if we want to select a date. It reveals the different date options. And activities, we have theater, amusement park, but I just want to go to a restaurant, so I'm gonna select food and drink. And I also want to see the map of Toronto. So when I click city map, there we go. A nice view of the city of Toronto is there, so I can just explore by myself, like where I want to go. And when I hit close, it goes away. Really cool. So now that we've designed and prototyped our local landing page, I'm gonna quickly show you how you can add this to your Behance project. So I'm going to select the artboard. I'm gonna press Share, Publish Prototype, create a public link, and then it's going to, oh, there's a problem. Okay, so it looks like I've done this before, I guess. So I'm going to select, create a public link.
Are you online?
I think so. I believe I'm connected. Okay, so unfortunately I'm running into some difficulties, but I'm just going to publish it as just a photo or a PNG. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go into File, Export, Selected, and you can export it. If you hit Design, it's gonna export it at 1, but if you want to, export it so that it displays really nicely on Retina screens, you can easily just select Web, and then when it says Design Dat, just select 2. And this will export your design. It's gonna be much larger in size, but the quality is gonna be much, so at 1, sorry. So I'm just gonna quickly just select Design, and I'm going to export this. Let me name this Toronto Landing Page. Gonna go to my Behance project. Oops. And I'm going to select Upload. And I'm going to add my landing page. So just really quickly, so yesterday I added an interactive prototype to my Behance project, but I'm gonna show you, because as you can see, there's a lot of white space. So if that happens, all you need to do is select this button here. And right now there's a lot of padding. So if you just select it, it's gonna remove the full width view, and it's going to shrink it so it just displays a lot nicer. Okay, so again, I'm gonna press Save, and just before you publish your prototype, or if you go into Settings, make sure you hit the Discoverability tab and use the keyword XD Daily Challenge. Can't wait to see what your landing page looks like. I will be in the Slack channel to see your work. And also on Behance, I take a look at that too. So yeah, thanks so much for tuning in today. Really quickly, let's just see today's schedule. So I believe we have a packed schedule of designing in Photoshop. So be sure to tune in at 9 a.m. with Temi, 10:30 with Shauna. At noon, we have Jake, and then at 1:30, we have Riza. So super exciting. Be sure to tune in for that. So thanks so much for tuning in to day number 2. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow for day number 3 in the XD Daily Creative Challenge. Bye.